Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
Is back out for a three. Left wing is good. Deep to right field. At the warning track. See ya.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
At the buzzer.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Huge win for Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you. It is draft day for the National Football League, and here's to a few Ducks, hopefully hearing their names called sooner than later. The higher they go, I feel like the better it is for everybody. I'm Joey Mack. Thanks for being with us. We're going to talk a lot of football. Beach volleyball season wrapped up yesterday. We got some news on that for you. Women's golf, they're going to Albuquerque, the #1 seed for Derek Radley's squad in the Albuquerque Regional. Also, acrobatics and tumbling. The national championships begin tonight against Quinnipiac. Ducks hosting the NCATA National Championships at Matthew Knight Arena. Streamed on ESPN+. It's being produced by our crew. The Matthew Knight Arena control room is the hub for all of the ESPN Plus broadcasts for the Acrobatics and Tumbling National Championships. And here's to Oregon winning in the quarterfinals, then in the semifinals, then in the finals, and also some individual titles for Oregon Acrobatics and Tumbling. That's coming up tonight. Colby Summers, some news on him. And then I got the chance to catch up with a number of different products over the course of the pregame festivities for the spring game. We've got all those interviews for you coming up in just a little while. And speaking of football, the voice of the Ducks, Gerry Ellen, is here. Hi, Jerry.
Hey!
How you doing? Nice choice of pullover today. Got the rose. Well done.
I still have the rose. Somebody asked me about the rose. Why don't you take that rose off there? It's just a sticker, all right? I took a rose off of another shirt, and it left the glue, and I had never been able to get it off. So it's on there for good.
Well, that's a patch, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's
it's just
not
a patch.
sticker.
No,
that's a
patch.
patch.
That's right.
You know,
okay,
that's
I'll
more. It
accept
feels
that.
more permanent if it's a patch.
Hey, I missed the entire schedule of what's going on. Could you run through that just one more time?
Baseball this weekend also against Cal. It's senior weekend for Oregon State and Oregon on the softball diamond at Jane Sanders Stadium. Track and field is also in action this weekend, Jerry, and they're actually splitting a couple different meets this weekend. And before we know it, it's going to be Oregon lacrosse next Wednesday in the Pac-12 championships. Men's golf just wrapped up the Pac-12s. They're going to find out their selection next week in May. I think that was everything.
You know, when spring football is going on with all the spring sports, this is the absolute busiest time of the calendar year.
No doubt about it. Oh, doubles team going to be competing in the Nationals for men's tennis.
Wow.
Yeah. Women's tennis also. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a ton going on. It's
There's
great to be a
going on.
Duck. Huh?
It is. We're going to talk a little bit of football. We haven't had the chance to kind of put a bow on the spring season, the spring game with you, Jerry. And, let's start first with just how awesome it was on Saturday. A cool environment. It's a celebration day for the fans, and I feel like the fans enjoyed that celebration with the Ducks.
For Coach Lannon, I wanted that to be a full house. I wanted it to be – and in my mind it was. For a spring game, I cannot remember that number of fans in the stands being that loud and as engaged as they were for him and that team. It was a perfect scenario. Weather was awesome. Couldn't have got much better day.
Mother Nature helps.
Yeah, she's a Duck fan.
Yeah, she is. It never rains at Autzen Stadium. It's nice when it's sunny at Autzen Stadium as well. Shout out to everybody again. Food for Lane County, over 33,000 pounds of food. That's awesome. It's one of the best things about the spring game, I think. So everyone wants to know, Jerry, who's going to start at quarterback in the fall?
It'll be the guy who's lined up right behind the center. Okay. That's the way they have done it in the past. I'm sure they're going to do the same thing. I don't know. And I said this on the broadcast Saturday. I don't think we find out till the middle of fall camp or maybe even the first week of the game because I don't see these guys separating each other. Or I'm going to say all three of them. Jay Butterfield's in there too.
I was doing an interview yesterday, and I feel like I feel like it's so funny that everyone wants to focus on the quarterback, right? For good reason. The quarterback is the most important position in sports. I think a lot of people would say that. But why would you name a starter now? Why wouldn't you want competition in the fall?
Well, true.
You know,
there's no doubt about it.
I understand that people want to know, and people want to know how they look. And I think that we got a good snapshot on Saturday of how all the guys performed. Some good, some bad. And if they were perfect in the spring, well, that'd be the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, no. If you're bringing back a quarterback who has got 2 years of experience, he's a Marcus Mariota. You know what you got. You know he's your starter. Everybody knows it. You name it. But when you guys you have guys competing for that job, one who hasn't had a lot of playing time, one who's a transfer in and needs to prove it, and I mentioned Jay Butterfield's in there too. Then you want them to compete. Makes all three of them better.
I thought that they did put the ball in jeopardy a few times. Coach Dillingham talked about that, you know, and I feel like, hey, this is going to be a conversation point, and it gives people like you and me something to talk about and answer questions about. And, you know, I think that Coach Lanning's going to have to answer questions about it for a long time too, Coach Dillingham. And who am I missing? Anybody?
The whole rest of the staff. But the point for the spring and the spring game is not – this team is not as good as it's going to be.
Yeah.
So this is when you find out those mistakes and the things that they need to correct. And I think some guys, I really think some of the quarterbacks during the spring, some of the mistakes I think we saw on Saturday were mistakes of trying to prove myself.
Yeah.
Trying to show you that I'm better than. I think when you get to the fall, I think they dial it down a little bit and get more into the team and the game. So I'm not as upset with those mistakes they made. I love the effort, though. I thought it was a good game.
What did you take away from the spring in terms of just how it was from a coaching perspective too, Jerry? I mean, because it was different. It had a different feeling about it. New staff, there's always a little bit of a difference.
You know, it ran, I thought, amazingly smooth.
Yeah.
I didn't see very many hiccups in the game. I didn't see many situations where the coaching staff seemed confused or lost control. There was some tempo. I thought they did exactly what they wanted to do. Now, we don't know what they wanted to do. There might have been some things that didn't go well, but I'm happy with the spring. I really am. And I think the fan experience was part of the success for me because it made it seem like a real game.
Yeah, then they aimed high. You know, the staff, they came in and said, we want to bring in all these pro guys. I said, we'll hear from some of those guys a little bit later on, some of the alums. You know, they wanted it to be an experience. They did that. Now the question, of course, on everybody's mind is where do we go from here, right? The off season, it's conditioning, it's independent work, and then fall camp's going to be here before we know it. August will be here before we know it. Yeah. We call it fall camp, but it happens in the summer.
I know. Fall camp is, gosh, it's different in that there's no really fall camp, spring camp. It's all one season out.
Yeah.
It used to be there were seasons or camps. Now it starts January 1st and it ends December 31st.
What did you think of the running backs? I feel like we didn't see Byron Cardwell, precautionary, but I felt like they showed a little bit of depth.
Yeah, Seven McGee, you know, he's going to be that utility tool guy. He can be a running back, he can be a wide receiver. Where did I write down? I hope I can find his name because I was really impressed by Noah Whittington. I just thought and this is a compliment. Some people said that he looks or reminds you of somebody that maybe was in that position last year, near the same size, speed, quickness, and everything. I think he's going to be that third running back. I think it'll be a three-man team, rotate that, and Dollars definitely is going to be there. So I'm pretty happy with, in fact, the entire offense.
Yeah, I felt like it was cool to see the offense perform like Coach Dillingham wanted it to, right? You know, he talked so much about how his offense is about getting guys in space and letting players make plays. We saw that on the opening play of the game with Seven McGee. You know, you mentioned Whittington. I mean, getting outside, showing some speed. I feel like if for an offense built on explosive plays, fans got to see that a little bit on Saturday.
Yeah, they're going to go down the field. I mean, we heard the receivers, the tight ends particularly this year said, or this season, spring season, said they like the idea that they're involving the tight ends more. They're throwing to the tight ends more and getting them more involved in the offense. We used to see that a lot here. And Oregon's got a ton of receivers to choose from. Running backs are solid. Offensive line. The offense, no questions in my mind anywhere at all.
Yeah, I think that the wide receiver position is intriguing with Seven, of course, Seven McGee. But, you know, it's so easy for all of us to look at the newcomers and get excited, like a Chase Cota, right? I mean, he sure looked the part with his experience.
He's a possession guy. He really is.
Yeah, over 100. I heard you mention that. I feel like that's a great description of what he can do because he always seems to have possession once the ball's in his area.
Yeah, he finds the ball. If it's behind him, he comes back to it. His vision and his field sense of what the quarterback's doing, what the defender is doing, you can't teach that. You can't coach that a lot of ways. It's an instinct, and he's got that instinct.
There's the tendency for all of us to look at a guy like that, but then there's the guys that have developed, like a Troy Franklin, a Dante Thornton, the skinnies, as they called him. I feel like that the development of those guys, it was cool to see it on display in a game setting, to see, okay, those guys have taken a step forward. At least that's what I think I saw.
No, I think the tight ends, the wide receivers, the group that came back from last year had a little bit to prove because the leading receiver on this football team last year was a running back.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a bad thing, but it tells you that they didn't have that go-to receiver on the outside that they felt confident in. I think they do now.
Offensive line too. I'm kind of going position group now. Offensive line. Jorgie said it on the broadcast that he feels like the trenches are the strength of this team, which I feel like every football coach would say that's what we want. We want it to be the strength of the team. The offensive line, though, and we saw the guys separated into different groups. That is probably the strength of the team, at least on paper, because they've got a lot of guys back in those spots.
Yeah, the biggest aspect, I think, of the offensive line is the depth.
Yeah.
And not only do they have good starters along the offensive line, we're not talking about moving a left tackle who can play right guard back and forth. We're talking about guys that have a position and have a good backup in them. So I think the depth of the offensive line is really going to be good this year.
I want to talk defense. I want to look ahead to the fall a little bit. You're hanging out?
Yes, I am.
That's good, because I wasn't going to let you leave anyway. He's Gerry Ellen, the voice of the Ducks, so we're going to keep talking some football next. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you, alongside with Gerry Ellen. Josh asking about the status of Cam McCormick, and I think somebody asked about Cam McCormick yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to answer the question. The Ducks are anticipating Cam McCormick to be back to full strength, and if there's a guy to root for in any walk of life with what Cam McCormick's been through, I mean, that's the guy to root for. And you talk about depth at the tight end position. Whew. You get a veteran like that in there?
Yeah. He's a guy that leads by example.
Yeah.
Didn't give up, had the opportunity to say, hey, I did my best. My body can't take it against the odds. Just get through school, get my degree, move on. But he never did that. And every year he came back for practice. And this spring he's back at practice again. You got to be kidding me.
Right.
And he was practicing. He was playing.
It was really cool throughout the spring. I mean, like seeing Sean Dollars out there healthy.
Yes.
Right. Seeing Patrick Herbert out there healthy. Seeing Cam. I mean, the list goes on and on. Right. I don't want to miss anybody, but I think that's a cool piece to this season that you're getting some of those guys back, and a cool piece really to the spring season to see those guys back at practice. You know, Gerry, everybody's been asking me like, what? I'm sure you're getting all these questions too. Like, okay, so we know maybe what the offense is going to look like, but how many points are they going to score? You know, like what are we really talking about here? Can you put numbers to it? I don't know that I can put numbers to it, but I know that it looks like they're going to be explosive. Explosive plays win football games.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to be a higher-scoring football team than we've had for probably 3 or 4 years. I mean, they just have the weapons. I think when you got the wide receiver group they have, the offensive line we talked about, solid at running back, and 3 quarterbacks that certainly can get the ball down the field. They're going to stretch the field, and that I think that really puts pressure on defenses, and then opens up the running game, and then you start doing more. So I think it's a good number. I think Oregon scores points this year.
Popo, Amavai, Brandon Dorless, they weren't available in the spring game, and so we've seen a lot of young guys along that defensive front. I think that everybody jumping off the page at you now is everyone's looking at DJ Johnson. We were just talking during the break, Gerry and I, where I feel like the potential was always there for DJ, and boy, he just looks like a game wrecker.
Well, he had some really good games as a tight end. I mean, you could tell he's got that body and that destroyer type of guy. But then the Ohio State game, when he came in the end and made the saving tackle in the end, I mean, that was kind of a prelude to, where's his best position really? Well, I think they found it, and I think he's thrilled to be there too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that having him playing in that spot where he was recruited to play there, once upon a time, feels like that was forever ago for DJ, but what a team guy. That's a cool storyline. But a lot of young guys that I think saw time. And again, Jorgie thought the trenches were the strength, and I mean, who's to disagree with one Mike Jorgensen?
I would never disagree with until it comes to food, and then I would. I just, Sam Tamani, Trevor Maai, back from last year, Braden Swinson. I mean, there are a lot of names up here. Keon Ware-Hudson, I mentioned him. Keanu Williams, Dorless, Pody. I mean, there's probably 9 or 10 really solid choices along the defensive line. Now, they got to prove it. Yeah. It's fun to talk about right now, but I think we saw these guys do that last year. Now they're a year older.
You mentioned Sam Taimanitaki, as the guys call him, and Alex Forsythe said post-game, like, I went up against him at Washington, now getting to go against him every day in practice. I mean, that's something. That's something playing against a guy like that. Linebacking core, I'm excited, too, as you talk about guys getting healthier. I mean, just a 5-star in the middle that will be joining another 5-star with Flo. And so I feel like the linebacking core, we know how good it can be, and we know that it could be something pretty special.
Yeah, and they're going to need to be good, too, because that back end, the secondary corners and the safeties are going to need those linebackers to do their job this year. Justin Flo, obviously, Adrian Jackson, and then Noah Sewell. But I want to look at the corners a little bit. Twackwas Bridges, safety corner, and then the guy that came in, Christian Gonzalez, he showed us already quite a bit this spring, but I thought in the game on Saturday he was like a veteran. Oh, that's right, he is.
He is, yeah. I mean, shutdown type corner and all Pac-12 type guy. And I think that the secondary, what stuck out to me with the secondary is that the Ducks have so many guys that they want to play different positions, like a Bennett Williams, like a Jamal Hill, like a Triquez Bridges. We've seen guys move around to different positions.
Versatile.
I think that position versatility, I mean, Joe Lorig coaching the nickels, and then Coach Meat coaching the cornerbacks, but all of the different defensive backs. I think versatility is something that it's really jumped out to me. They really value that in this defense.
And I think they have enough value in the talent they have that they can put the field corner where that's his best position, or a boundary corner. That's his best position, instead of having to move guys where they maybe are out of character or don't feel comfortable. So again, we're going to have to wait and see. But there's so many reasons on this football team, starting with a head coach, to be excited about this year.
Yeah, I really am. already looking forward to the fall. Not that I wasn't already, but after going through the spring, I mean, and the schedule's tough. We know it. It starts out. I mean, that's a big game.
No, it is.
Neutral site.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's giving Oregon a chance like they didn't give Oregon a chance going to Ohio State last year.
True.
So, I mean, you play the games because you have a chance. So the Ducks got a chance. I'm excited. And remember, Saturday when we watched that game, that was a split team. That wasn't a full team of number ones.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't like ones versus twos. They actually had enough guys to split the teams. Which, that's interesting, Jerry. Somebody asked me that on the sideline. One of the pro guys did. I can't remember who it was, and he said, "Yeah, isn't this great? They actually have enough guys to split the teams."
Yeah, there were years when they didn't.
Well, honestly, I don't know. How often has that happened in the last 10 years?
Probably a couple of times.
Handful of times.
Yeah, handful of times. I mean, there were some years when we did. There was just a lot of.
It was
talent.
mostly situational, offense versus defense. I feel like that used to be the traditional spring game is offense versus defense, and there'd be a new way to score points if you're the defense.
Yeah. If you get a touchdown on defense, it's worth 1.5.
Right.
If you get a pick, it's -1. We never did figure that out.
No, I remember trying to figure out who won and what the score was, and I just would sit there and go, I have no idea. But yellow versus green. Okay, hard-hitting question before we let you go, Jerry. So they have a great chicken tenders and fries basket at PK Park. Okay, usually you're talking about 4 chicken tenders on top of a bed of French fries. Gosh. Okay.
Food. Yeah.
So how many sauces would you grab? You don't have to pay extra for the sauces. PK takes good care of you. So, you got 4 good-sized chicken strips, chicken tender strips, and some fries underneath. How many sauces you grabbing? How many barbecues? How many ranches? How many ketchups?
None.
Really?
I'm gonna find some gravy.
Oh, jeez.
Right? Gravy. John Sargent. He knows what I'm talking about. I can't wait for football season to come back, so they'll bring us one of those chicken fried steak covered in gravy. Yeah, so no sauces, gravy.
Okay, what?
This was an argument that somebody's having.
Gravy,
I was going to break the tie.
Okay, gravy is not an option.
Okay.
So you've got ranch cups, barbecue sauce cups, and you got some ketchup packets. How many are you taking for the basket? And fries. Yeah,
and
so
fries.
4 chicken tenders and some fries.
Well, how big are the sauces?
It's a good question.
Okay.
The standard, like silver dollar size, and I'm going to say probably half an inch deep.
All right. I'd probably grab a dozen, and then what I didn't use, I'd stuff in my pockets and take home, right? Yeah. Yeah, you got to have enough. You cannot get fries and chicken fingers.
You can't run out.
And get to the end and go, oh, no.
You can't
I'm out of sauce.
Out of sauce.
I'm out of sauce.
Thank you. Victory.
Okay, who did we beat?
Honestly. So, all right. Here's where we're at.
That's funny.
Our coordinating producers, love them to death, but they gave me a real hard time, along with Jordan Brenner, for coming into the booth with 3 barbecue sauces and 2 ranches.
Yeah.
Because I figured
that wasn't enough.
Thank you.
That wasn't
I figure 1 sauce cup per tender, and then you got some excess sauce for your fries.
Oh, you haven't even covered spillage.
That's true. You're right about that.
Yeah, I'm going to drop a whole
You're
cup.
right about that.
Okay.
So I just, I was really all in on this, and I was dumbfounded that they looked at me like I was crazy walking into the broadcast booth with my dinner. I never thought I'd have to be a defender of sauces. So thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I always knew he was a great mentor. I mean, just this is it right here. So you were officially the tiebreaker. I don't know if you knew this before.
No,
you
I had
in the
no
door.
idea.
Yeah, you're.
I still would
officially
do
the
gravy
tiebreaker.
though. I still go gravy.
That's fine. Yeah, but Scott, Mitchell, and I were all very much on the sauce side. And they were all saying, well, you only need like 1. Why would you need 4 or 5?
No, you need a bottle of each.
One.
You get a bottle of each.
And then a couple fans on Twitter, most notably, our guy Rich, who's a normal baseball listener, he always chimes in on Twitter, and I appreciate it. And, well, he chimed in on Twitter, and he basically was like, Here's your giant ranch bottle, Joey. And, I mean, it's one of the biggest pictures of a ranch bottle I've ever seen. It's one that you'd see in, like, a promo kind of a thing, like in a grocery store. It's like a blow-up
ranch, yeah.
And he goes, yeah, live look at the PK staff delivering ranch to the press box for Joey. Why wouldn't you want that?
I wouldn't turn it down. No. Kidding me? Put in one of those automatic pumps with a tube that goes upstairs, and you just dispense your own sauce, right?
Yeah,
there you go. You do that.
Yeah. I'm in. So anyway, thanks, Gerry, for being you and answering this question the way that we knew was the right way. Why would you ever risk running out of sauce?
Oh, that is so bad. That's so frustrating.
So Tobias says, I once filled an entire hot dog carton with mustard and then clumsily spilled it on the lady in front of me at PK Park. And, yeah, that's not good. So you have to account for spillage.
Yeah, spillage. Plus, I would never admit that. But that's another.
So, now, I will say, this is a very fair argument. Ellen, our coordinating producer, she said, well, growing up, my dad said that if you have to put sauce on something, then you didn't cook it right. Yeah, okay.
Isn't syrup a sauce?
That's right.
Okay, so
sometimes it's made to be had with sauce. It's intended this way.
Yes.
They are dippers.
They're dippers.
Yes, this is true. So I'm really glad that we can finally put this to bed and that the people that are on the right side of history.
Are they sauces or are they, got to be careful saying the condiments.
They are
both. They're both?
Yeah,
they're both. Okay.
So you're bringing back, of course, the great condiment debate of 2017, I think it was. So, anyway.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the cows were coming through the field. I know.
Back at the ranch. I see what he did there. See what he did there. Okay, so this has been Duck Insider. I think I'm just going to hang it up for the day. The headset's coming off because
I'm definitely going. I'm leaving.
That's out. I understand. Gerry, hey, good to see you.
You too.
Thanks for coming in, and I'm just so glad to know that we can still be friends.
I want to come up in the booth. We can get some chicken fingers and 30 packages of sauce.
See, here's the thing, though. Now it's you have to do that.
Oh, I'm definitely going to do that.
I'm doing it Friday. I'm walking into the booth like arms full.
Backpack.
Now, look, I'm not going to be wasteful. I want to be clear. I will not be wasteful. It will be mostly just for fun, and then they're all going to go back into the fridge, and they'll be used. I promise. I'm not going to be wasteful just to make a point, but I'm going to make the point.
See, the helmets with the cups that you put beer in?
Yeah.
You fill them with sauce with the tube, and then you just put it right into your mouth. You don't even have to dip the chicken in it.
Why do that? Just inject it right into my arteries.
Say goodbye.
He's the voice of the Ducks, Gerry Ellen, believer in sauces for your chicken tenders. When we come back, beach volleyball season. They broke a few program records this year. We're going to go through that. Keep talking a little bit of spring game. Hear from some pro Ducks on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece, and it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
We are back inside the Country Financial Studio, sauced up and ready to go. I can't say that. No, I can't. That's the wrong phrasing for this. I'm just glad to know that Gerry is on our side. Thank you to Gerry Ellen. That's good. That's great. Yeah. I don't understand. I never did understand. So, and I also want to point out that I have gotten no texts from any of the people that are now on the wrong side of history. No one has said a word to me, which means that I think they all know what came to them. And that's pretty much it. Beach volleyball. The Oregon beach volleyball team, they opened up the day with a win over Utah, but had a couple afternoon losses to ranked opponents. Number 1 USC, number 12 Cal Wednesday, the Pac-12 championship in Tucson. The Ducks finished their 2022 campaign with a 14-18 record under first-year head coach Jason Dillard. Guided the team to a program record single-season wins with 14, and its first ever ranked win when they won at Arizona on April 9th. So congratulations to the beach volleyball team, man. That was a great, great season. And I think the Ducks, as that sport continues to grow, not just at Oregon, but across collegiate sports, that's fun, man. That's a good season for that squad. Women's golf, you heard us mention it yesterday. Some more details. The number 1 seed, 14th consecutive NCAA regional appearance for the women's golf team. They're the number 1 seed in the Albuquerque regional. That was announced yesterday afternoon. Ducks have reached an NCAA regional every year since 2008, not counting that 1920 season that was cut short due to the pandemic. This will be the program's 26th all-time NCAA regional appearance, 1 week after winning the first Pac-12 championship in program history at Eugene Country Club. The Ducks received the top seed in the 12-team field in the Albuquerque Regional. It's hosted by New Mexico. Play will begin on May 9th with the final round, set for May 11th. May 9th it starts, final round on May 11th. Coach Derek Radley said, quote, extremely excited at the opportunity to go to Albuquerque. We had a hunch that might be where we go. I've been fortunate actually to be there a couple times when I was the assistant coach at Arizona, and also our assistant coach Monica Vaughn has played the course when she was in college. Love to see that. That's Derek Radley, the Oregon women's golf head coach. It'll be Oregon, Florida, Texas, Arizona. A little bit of a storyline there, of course. Coach Radley familiar with the Wildcats. Georgia, TCU, Louisville, North Texas, Oklahoma, Sam Houston State, Northern Arizona, and New Mexico State. The Ducks are coming off an appearance in the championships, and I think they've got a really good chance to win this darn thing this year. So congratulations to the Ducks. Now, men's golf, 3 Duck golfers finished among the top 10 individuals to lead Oregon to a 4th-place finish Wednesday at the Pac-12 championships. Yuki Moriyama finished 3rd at the conference tournament for the 2nd year in a row, actually, while Owen Overett and Nate Stember tied for 10th. Ducks had the low round of the day on Wednesday, a 2-under-354 that solidified their 4th-place finish. I'll tell you what, I think they've got a good shot here. NCAA regional selections will be announced May 4th at 1 p.m. on the Golf Channel. The 6 NCAA regionals will be played May 16th through 18th for men's golf. Shout out to Colby Summers of Oregon Baseball. The National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association has named Oregon closer Colby Summers to its midseason Stopper of the Year watch list. Summers from Hillsboro claimed first-team All-Pac-12 Conference honors. He was an All-American as well last season. He's 4-2 on the year, leads the Pac-12 with 7 saves, a 2.78 earned run average. Colby Summers also, if you're interested, you heard Rob Mosley on the show yesterday talking about this. Rob just released his story talking about Colby Summers being a dad and Jazz Williams being a mom. So you might see pops out at PK Park or what they call a mom bomb. I love that at Jane Sanders Stadium. That was pretty cool. Enjoyed the story that Rob wrote about that subject, and I encourage you to check it out. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more spring football here from some pro Ducks who were there. I got the chance to catch up with a lot of them pregame. That's next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here in the Country Financial Studio. Continuing to recap the spring game, we've had so much going on. Still some post-game interviews, if you will. Let's begin with Dante Thornton, one of the skinnies, as they call him. Made some really nice catches in the spring game, a couple of touchdowns. Dante Thornton, he talked with everybody post-game about spring game, the spring, looking ahead a little bit, talking wide receivers. Dante Thornton.
How much fun was that out there?
It felt great. I ain't gonna lie, it felt amazing. Yeah, I very speechless. Like, it was a great day out there for me. I felt like I had an amazing day. Me and the whole yellow team. Like, the receiver corps today, I feel like our whole receiver corps, green or yellow, we had an amazing day. Yeah, that's how I really feel about it.
Were you rooting for the other wide receivers?
Oh, yeah, I really was. Like, because at the end of the day, yeah, we separate team, green, yellow, but I feel like at the end of the day, we call our group the Hot Boys. So, like, at the end of the day, I'm a Hot Boy, and we all together, so I'm always going to cheer for them no matter what.
Is that a name change from the Skinnies?
Yeah. But no, Skinnies is a little separate. It's separate, but it's all the same thing.
I know you got one more practice left, but just your comfort level and just your thoughts now going through spring ball and this offense.
Great. I feel amazing. Like, going into I got a lot of confidence, especially after the day. I had a big day, so I'm going to keep that going into the next practice and then into the offseason and into the regular season.
What's next for you that individually you want to improve on and just get better at this offseason?
Still, my main goal is to taking the ball to the highest point. I keep on working on that. That's the main thing going into the offseason and still going into the season. So I'm going to have the same goals that I had leading up to it.
Last couple of weeks we've heard that this offense wants to stretch the field vertically. Was today a good example of that?
It was a prime example of how we're going to stretch the field. Like, the first play of the game, we take a 7-yard catch down the field. So that's what y'all should be ready to see that a lot this season.
I think a lot of fans are going to come away with how impressive Chase Cota was physically.
Oh, man, Chase Cota was going crazy today. Like, I was like, damn, why I want Chase Cota on my team? Like, yeah, I think he had like 6 catches for like 100 yards, but I would have thought it was more than that the way he was playing. But he played great today, in my opinion.
Is that what he's been showing in practice?
Oh yeah, he came in here and showed it instantly. So I respect him for that.
What are the biggest differences you've seen in the offenses that you've been under here?
We're throwing the ball deep a lot more. Yeah, but like we run the ball a lot, but it's equal now. It's more level with us though. Like last year it was a more heavy run, but now we're like equal. You don't know what to expect with us.
You seem to have a pretty good relationship with Bo Nix out there, pretty good connection. How's that kind of grown over the last few weeks?
So when Bo first got here, like our relationship grew because like I had number 10, and he wanted like a number 10, so I was like, he can get number 10, and then from there our relationship grew. Like we work out every single day, get extra work in before practice, after practice. So like our relationship has grown a lot. Like he came in and took me on his wing as an older quarterback, like to really teach me what I needed to do. So I really appreciate Bo a lot.
Was it tough for you to give up that number?
Nah. Because I want to change my number anyway, so like it's good.
What does number 2 mean to you?
It means a lot. So like Devin Williams, he was here last year. He won number 2, and he's one of my biggest inspirations playing football here. So like I wanted to wear number 2, and I like the era continues. That's why I said the era lives on.
So what's the bling that you got on?
Mac.
Yeah.
So it stands for murder in the corner, as in like all competition was though. Like I had his nickname since high school, and I wore number 11 in high school. My name was Mac 11. So like murder in the corner 11. So like that.
And what about the other one?
This is a picture of me with number 0 from my last year's spring ball when I first got here.
Yeah. Where do you feel like this offense is growing the most in spring?
Going down the field, attacking the ball. Like our deep threat down the field. That's like the most we've grown.
This is also our biggest sample size with Sean Dollars because he hasn't played.
Sean he came out here and like showing people that he's ready to be back out here playing football. Like he came off an injury and still running like he did before. So like the injury didn't do nothing to him.
How did you feel about the fan turnout today, and how does that feel taking it 70
It felt great. Like it felt like coming out here today, I felt like it was like a real game. So like I love the energy that the fans brought today. It felt amazing, really.
It feels like there's different excitement, different culture about this team right now. Just how would you describe things?
I feel like with our culture now, like last year we had a lot of older dudes, but now it's a bunch of younger dudes that have to step up and become older dudes. So like we always maturing a lot and just putting our effort in there at 100% at all times and just showing that we can do what we can do.
Seems like you guys are just having more fun though.
Oh yeah, it's a lot more fun. Like it's a lot of people out there playing freely. That's how I like to say it. Everybody out there playing freely and relaxed.
Kind of on that note, I mean, you obviously have a lot of energy coming into the spring game. Then first play goes 70 yards, you got to score right off the bat. Is there, in your sports experience, is there anything more fun than that? Just like having that type of...
Because it was crazy because I actually thought the ball was going to come to me. And so like, I was real happy for Seven because like no one really recognizes him as a receiver. They all recognize him as a running back. I feel like he's an amazing receiver. So like, it made me very happy for him.
Do you think people recognize him as a receiver now?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like they definitely look at him as a receiver.
You mentioned the new nickname, the Hot Boys. What's behind that?
So like it was No Limit before, and we just added the Hot Boys on to change it up a little bit. Yeah, that's how it is.
No story?
Yeah, no story behind it. Just to add something different to it.
Dante Thornton, he has fun, doesn't he? I think that entire wide receiver room is having a lot of fun right now. When we come back, we're going to hear a little bit from Sean Dollars. You heard him being discussed there, and man, I'll tell you what, he has been just. It's so cool to watch those guys back at practice. You know, it's something that I didn't realize how much it would impact me, like watching them at practice, until I saw guys come back and work their way back. And I just realized I said when we come back, we don't even need to come back, do we? Let's hear a little bit more from Sean Dollars talking running backs now.
Honestly, it's just like a growth mindset from everything that we've been through, you feel me, as a team and personally, you feel me, just going out there, just knowing what I need to get done, knowing my assignment, knowing my rules, and, going out there and just playing ball, having fun.
Sean, this is your first time back and out sitting in front of fans in a long time.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean to you?
It means everything, just allowing people to see my abilities, allowing people to know, I can go out there and I can overcome anything that, life throws my way, and come back harder, 10 times harder, and hopefully I can keep on showing that throughout this 15-game season.
How do you think you performed today?
Once I take a look at the tape, I can be able to do that. When I'm out there, I don't really think about anything. Just go assignment and I go. If I'm going to look at it about tonight, I'll get back to you.
Your offense, obviously, the past couple of years, been run heavy. This time, a lot of deep shots, but it's a run game at the same time. Is this a good reflection of what you think the offense will look like?
Yeah, I think this is a great reflection. We got many things to trick the defense, you know what I mean? I think felt like in the past, like you said, we were a lot of inside run. But I feel like with our pro-style offense now that Kenny B has us going under, it's allowing us to take shots, allowing us to throw short balls, allowing us to get the run game open when we can. When we punch it down the middle, we can be able to open up the pass game, and once we pass it down the throat, we're going to be running now. So, yeah.
You guys have had a couple of scrimmages so far this spring camp. Is there any type of comparison between what it is on the field without fans to with fans, and what was it like to have?
honestly, football is football. If you love the game, fans or not, you're just going to go out there and you're going to compete and you're going to love it. It's a short game, you get to play, so once you get out there and get your chance to play, you better take advantage of it.
The fans have been kind of waiting for an explosive offense like this. Just talk about the potential of what this offense could be.
I think when Coach Locke came back, he wanted to readdress the standard in the running back room. He brought in all the great running backs that came from Oregon. He brought in a lot of other running backs that he likes for himself, and he wants us to not be like them, but show us how we hit the ball, how we hit the hole, show us how we catch the ball, pass block. Pass block is the #1 thing to him. So pass blocking is very key when you got a $10 million, $14 million quarterback in the backfield. You got to keep him clean.
So how the running backs helped each other?
Just continuing to grow. I feel like we all came from different positions, just in different coaching staffs. You have Noah coming from Western Kentucky. You have Byron Carwell. Me and him, obviously, compete every single day. So I feel like our running back group is pretty strong right now. I like it. Yep.
You mentioned there's some great running backs that honorary coaches like Ian Thomas and Mike James were able to talk to them.
Oh yeah. Those are actually my guys. I was able to talk to them before I even got up here to Oregon. So being able to have that pipeline, that connection with all those greats, being able to take wisdom out of them, and they've been in the league, so you might want to listen up when they've been in places you haven't been in.
How does it feel for you, especially going through the injury and everything that you've been through the last 12 months, to be back and just kind of have the game that you did?
God is good. That's all I can really say. Just really working every day, waking up with a renewed mindset. It gets repetitive, so I can tell how some people get tired of it, but once you go in the mindset that you are going to be back, you are going to be better than you were last time, you go out there, the sky's the limit. You're pretty blessed, man.
I know it wasn't full contact after your kick return, but you look like you guys might have had a couple of nice kicking returns.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I played off returner, so I was going down there for the block, trying to pick up for Seven McGee.
How encouraging is it to kind of see that growth with the extra emphasis on that back position?
I think it's big. Special teams is probably the biggest part of football, part of the football game. That's the extra possession, that's the extra down for us to get some points on the board, or for us to get them stopped back on the 15-10. When we can.
Obviously, you compete with the defense like every practice.
Yes,
what do you see from them today? They had a few picks, they had a couple of giveaways.
I feel like practice is probably going to be our hardest game. When you go out there, you compete in practice against the guys that we have on defense. The game, I wouldn't say it would be a piece of cake, but it surely makes it slower than what it needs to be. When you go out there playing fast speed.
Are there any defensive guys that you ever spar with, or that really get in your grill?
Taki on the defensive line, man. He loves to play peekaboo. Once you're going through that little A or B gap, he gonna sit there, he gonna side. All right, let me take that way. He gonna snatch right. So it's kind of a guessing game, but you gotta hit it hard though. It's contact. You're gonna get hit.
You and Noah came up with Taki as that guy. Is that a running back room thing?
Yeah, it's a running back room thing. I feel like after every practice, he's gonna point one of us out. He's gonna look at the film. He's gonna be like, I know why he pointed me out. Because sometime in the period that he got me or something. Look at you.
That's cool. Seeing just the pure happiness from Sean Dollars after being back out there and having a good time at the spring game. And he talking about Taki, that's the guy we were talking about earlier with Sam Taimani transferring in. Taki Taimani has been a difference maker, I think, for Oregon. You heard Gerry also talk about the next guy we're going to hear from, Noah Whittington, who had some really nice speed on the outside, finished off one touchdown drive for the Ducks, and I think that he is going to see a lot of time. Of course, transferring in because of his connection with Coach Lachlan. Noah Whittington talked after the spring game.
What was your first experience in Austin with fans like?
I loved it. Fans really came out and supported. I really thank you for that.
How do you think you did first your first game out here?
I did okay. Of course, there's stuff to work on. But like Coach Locke said, flip the page, correct it.
I've heard a lot about how Oregon's offense might be a little stretch the field vertically, but you guys certainly ran the ball a lot. Do you think that's a good idea for the fans across, just how the Oregon's offense is going to operate this year?
Definitely. We feed off each other. You can't have a good run game without a pass game. So I feel like we got both. So whichever one hot, that's what we're going to do.
What do you see from your offensive line, and what's your chemistry with those guys like?
I love our O-line, and they played a hell of a game.
How do you think you're going to see yourself in the pass game going forward? You mentioned a couple weeks ago, improved in pass blocking. You were out there catching balls and stuff like that. So how do you think you're going to improve yourself there?
Most definitely working on my right tracks, especially countering, particularly staying tight, lower my pad level, in the hole, ball security. There's always stuff that will get better.
Talk about the opportunities you've got. You're able to get in space. In this offense, we've heard a lot about players getting mismatches and being in space. Talk about what you see in the field today and those mismatches you got.
Coach Dillingham put everybody in a position to be successful. So if if you getting the ball, it's because you won your one-on-one, or that's just you did what you were supposed to do. So I feel like we get our playmakers in space, like 7, for example. We get Chase Coda.
Yeah, talk about that trust you built with Coach Gillingham and like the repertoire you've seen, like all the plays you've seen in spring camp, like kind of come to fruition in the game.
I mean, just like being around him, like being in meetings, he's like a genius. So everything he say makes sense. So it's like a person you can learn from, most definitely.
Is there anyone on the defensive side of the ball who you find yourself getting in constant battles with, whether it's in practice or today's game?
2 people, yes. Taki, D-lineman, for one, and Noah Sewell, yes. Them 2.
Are there any particular moments that you can speak to, like the challenges of like maybe you getting the better side of a play, or them getting a better side of a play?
I mean, Taki got me yesterday at practice. You know, I had called a stinger Tuesday. It was a hole. He shared the block, boom, ran into a brick wall. So they always help us. Like, it's always just competition between us. Before the play, we look at each other, stuff like that. Me and Noah look at each other.
Always looking at each other ahead of time, huh? That's Noah Whittington, who we got a chance to hear from a little bit after the game. We're going to get a timeout when we come back. Some of those products we've been telling you about, I had a conversation with a lot of them. That's on the horizon on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece, and it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
These are the sounds of a dinner. A dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Welcome back. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. A lot on the show tomorrow. A full weekend preview. Best select acrobatics and tumbling in their quarterfinal matchup in the championships tonight against Quinnipiac. And I do want to hear a little bit from a guy that some of you might have seen the interview on the scoreboard, actually, at Autzen Stadium. We got a chance to catch up with Eric Armstead. And now he kind of joked a little bit. You'll hear about what we would see in the spring game. You guys all tell me if you feel like he was right on in his little preview that he gave us. Got a chance to catch up with Eric Armstead.
What's the first memory that comes to mind standing on the turf again?
My first time freshman year running out of that tunnel and taking in the experience for the first time for sure. Running behind that motorcycle and with the rest of my teammates, definitely a one-of-a-kind experience.
Advice for the guys that want to play at the next level like you've done. Now, what comes to mind for you?
Sacrifice and hard work. You got to make sacrifices, and so deciding, you got to make good decisions too. So deciding to do the things that are going to help your career instead of hurting them, and making those sacrifices and putting in the hard work.
What are fans going to see when you're calling plays?
They're going to see how I like to play and the things I wish my D coordinator would call. No, I'm joking. They have a great team. They gave me a few play calls to give, so I'm not going to blitz per se. I'm going to rely on our D-line to get pressure and rush forward and, see what they can do.
Welcome back, Dotson. Good to have you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Eric Armstead, it was fun catching up with him just briefly. And then also we heard a little bit from Thomas Graham. I tracked Thomas down, and he looked at me and he said, "Are we doing an interview?" Because he remembered coming into the studio and doing an interview on one of the coaches' shows. And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." We got a chance to catch up with the Oregon cornerback.
Back on the turf at Autzen, first memory that comes to mind.
I'll have to say Washington upset. You feel me? Number 7 team in the country, and then we rushed the field. Best feeling ever.
So we've heard from a couple guys that have brought that one up. Is that like just the biggest memory for a bunch of your teammates?
Well, I say yeah, because at least during my time period, that was the only time we was able to rush the field. Like, the whole fans coming on, I couldn't get off the field, being able to see mom, see everybody, it was just a good feeling. And I felt like that was kind of the turning point to where Oregon is now.
How about the fans? I mean, just what's the environment like? Tell fans about it from your perspective.
The best fans in the country, that's why I came back here. Even though I'm in Chicago right now, it's just great to be back in Oregon with all the great Duck fans, and I love you guys.
Hey, how cool is it to be connected to this team still, too? I mean, just what's that like having a staff that wants you guys around?
It's great because, at the end of the day, like, we still want to be around. I recruited dang near half the team that's still here, so it's good to be able to see them grow and flourish and do things and be in position that either I wasn't able to be or I was able to put them in position to be able to do.
Welcome back to Autzen.
Thank you. I love you, Oregon.
That's pretty great, wasn't it, hearing from Thomas Graham? He succeeding, right? And talk about a day. It's NFL Draft Day, the first day of the draft today. And, well, he is one of those guys that heard his name called. And I love when he said, yeah, I recruited dang near half the guys that are going to be out here on the field today. I mean, that's what it takes, right? These connections to all these different guys. That's a cool piece, and we won't get to all of them today. Save a few for tomorrow as we continue to recap the spring game. Who else are we going to hear from? Let's see. I got to check my list. Lamar Winston, that was fun hearing from him. Jeff Mail, got a chance to catch up with the mailman. Jalen Redd as well. Ugo Amadi. And Ugo, I'll give you a little bit of a teaser. I said, hey, I mean, you're playing well at the next level. I asked him the same question I asked Eric Armstead, what's it going to take? And I think you're going to really love his answer. He had a lot of fun with it. And it was also cool, I do want to say, seeing all these guys walking around sometimes with their little kids with them. And that's pretty cool. The next step in their lives, and they get a chance to share that part of their life from when they were in college by coming back to Autzen. That was a cool experience. Tonight, acrobatics and tumbling, the national championships. Quinnipiac and the Ducks in the 4 versus 5 matchup at Matthew Knight Arena. It's going to be on ESPN+. We'll have a full recap for you tomorrow. Going to hear from Mark Wazikowski, talking Oregon baseball. They got Cal this weekend. Big weekend ahead. Talk to you tomorrow.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson